physically possible to actually remember them. Okay, but it is a very well validated score. It is a very well validated score that you will do in these cases. Now, as an intensive care doctor, okay, as a stroke specialist, I will do all of these things. How much time do you think it requires to do the NIHSS score? How much time do you think it requires to do it? It doesn't require more than 10 minutes. It doesn't. It is not supposed. It cannot be. It doesn't require more than 10 minutes. Though it has so many components. It doesn't require more than 10 minutes. That is the first thing you must understand. That Ajay, if you see this first thing, it's really you feel अरे वो इतना समय है. लेकिन ये अगर तुम बराबर करोगे तो 10 मिनट के अंदर you can complete the analysis. How much minutes?
10 minutes.
Now this stroke was created specifically for this scale was created for stroke, for acute ischemic stroke. It was specifically made for acute ischemic stroke. So the GCS was made specifically for traumatic brain injury. The ICH score was specifically made for intracerebral hemorrhage. The NIHSS stroke scale was specifically made for acute ischemic strokes. That's clear till now? Are we clear? Are we going right now? Okay. Now, what are the few things you, as an intensive care doctor, you must? Why do you think you need to do it? Ashok, why do you think we need to do this? If I have to do this NIHSS score, why do you need to do it? So that's why in a stroke, when a patient comes, it's important for you to do this. Why? So everybody should get talking about thrombolysis. What, Sachin, what do you say?
So, by going through the score, we'll know which is the ideal patient to thrombolyze on.
How do you know that?
With the scores, if you go 4 to 20 is the score, that is the ideal patient for thrombolysis.
Why?
Since we've got
patient doesn't require thrombolysis, if it's higher than this, chances of
correct. So what we know is that if the NIHSS score is less than 4 or less than 4, you do thrombolysis or don't do thrombolysis. 80% will achieve complete functional recovery. Simple. Okay. If your score is less than 4 or equal to 4, you do thrombolysis or don't do thrombolysis. You do or don't do thrombolysis. These patients will, 80% of them will achieve complete functional recovery. Clear on this? So you have one reason why you do the NIHSS score. I don't want to spend 1 lakh rupees on this particular patient and do a thrombolysis because it's less than 4. Because even if I do thrombolysis, it doesn't make a difference. Clear? That is the first thing. The second thing is, I know that if my NIHSS score is more than 25, 22, actually more than 22, the chance of this being a very severe stroke is very high. Whatever I do in this case also doesn't help. It's very high severity stroke. In fact, what is known is, if you were to try to thrombolyze these patients, there is a chance of hemorrhagic conversion. There is an upside chance of hemorrhagic conversion. So more than 22, I don't think this is going to help in any way. At the same time, it may harm. Clear? So now I know why to do the NIHSS score in an emergency. I want to put the prognosis in place. I want to know my interventions. I want to know my interventions that I should do or not do. Okay. Now this has got its own set of limitations. Like for example, when I say aphasia, let's go to the aphasia. Where is aphasia here?
Language. This
Language. Okay. So language. Aphasia. Now aphasia is given a point of 3. And let's look at limb movements. Ataxia, 1 limb 1. Okay. It's 2 basically. Okay. Or no response. The movement is given as 2 points over here. If it is no effort, I think 3 points. Now, what is more problematic? Aphasia is more problematic. If a person cannot communicate, he cannot do anything. If he cannot walk, at least he can talk. When he can talk, he can tell मेरे को ये हो रहा है, मेरे को वो हो रहा है. अगर patient बात ही नहीं कर सकता है, तो he cannot tell you complaint, he cannot do anything, he cannot explain anything. Are you understanding? So, if you look at it, it is more difficult. Aphasia is more difficult than small limb problems that you have in a single limb. अगर मेरे को एक काम पैर काम नहीं कर रहा है वर्सेस मेरे को बात करने को नहीं हो रहा है, what is more severe? Because communication is very important. If you cannot communicate, तो एक पैर चला के क्या मतलब है? समझ में आ रहा है? हाँ सिस्टर, हाँ हेलो, हाँ you understand ना? So it doesn't really tell you कि ये कितना खराब है, पर से 100% बताता नहीं है वो, समझ में आ रहा है? जैसे कि I would probably accept one limb not working rather than not able to know. So ideally IFSA could have been very high points and limb movement should have been like less points. Yeah, so that is one problem that you have with the NIHSS score. Okay, कि तुम 100% prognosticate करना it's difficult per se. But yes, this is a very good starting point for anything that you have in stroke. Very good starting point. मतलब तुमको normalize करना है, नहीं करना है, वो सब starting point के लिए perfect हो जाता है. But this is not supposed to be done day after day, day after day. Like GCS हम day after day करते हैं. GCS हम करेंगे, वापस करेंगे, 4 score वापस करेंगे. इसमें you do it at that point. At admission, you don't require to do it again. You do it once in the first 24 to 48 hours. Actually, at admission we do it because we want to decide about what to do. But in the first 48 hours, it has to be done. The NIHSS score. Clear?
Worst response we have to take in these.
Yeah. It's the worst response. That's the best response. The worst response. What you must know is how many points are there. Exam में क्या आता है? कितना points? How many point scale this is?
14.
How many number of things you're looking at?
14.
15. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What is this? Something more left? 14 points. 14. I think 14. The maximum you are getting is 42 score. The maximum you are getting 42 score and 0 is
0 is minimum.
0 is the minimum. So max. So this can come. कि कितना score? You must know this simple. लेकिन 15 score है. 14.
This rating like TPA, ideal for TPA range and.
So anything more than 25 actually you put it as 20 is not. It is more than 22 to 25. Okay, is where I will not use
Okay.
Clear? So NIHSS score becomes very important. Clear on this?
Yes.
Any doubts on the NIHSS score?
No, sir.
So how do you remember this? How do you kind of remember this, or how do you do this? Impossible to remember. So you download now with the presence of an internet. You just download an application. An application and just follow that quickly. Okay, once you follow that quickly, you will get it immediately. So you have to do it. If you don't do it, you will never know how to do it. उसको करोगे तब तुमको उसके problems पता चलेंगे. Now, for example, here there is a big issue with respect to posterior territory strokes. Now these are strokes, right? We're talking about Now what is the problem over here? Posterior territory में. Posterior territory में तुमको कुछ भी नहीं दिखेगा. Posterior territory में कुछ भी नहीं है तुम्हारे पास. Everything will be okay. You will get GCS 3. You will get NIHSS 3. Okay. If you get NIHSS 3, तुम इसको पोलिका थ्रोम्बोलाइज मत करो. बट ये posterior territory है, इसको लगेगा. You understand? Are you understanding? So posterior territory strokes are not very well validated with this particular NIHSS. Okay, posterior territory. You are understanding, no? See, the posterior territory stroke, you will get vertigo. Just vertigo. You will just have some imbalance. You will just have an imbalance. But you must know that just when we talk about IC, everything about posterior strokes, posterior territory, inferior territory, posterior territory. If the clot goes into the brain stem, if it goes into the bacilla, then the patient becomes comatose for life. Patient gets comatose for life. So it's so dangerous. It's one of those places where you want to quickly thrombolize or quickly intervene. You want to intervene because this patient is probably going to a locked-in state, probably going to go very bad. समझ में आ रहा है? But you will never notice with the NIHSS because all that you may have would be just an imbalance. You may have just an imbalance. Now let us put it here in the imbalance.
Ataxia only.
That also ataxia, one limb probably 1, or you may 2 points. 2 points. Baki everything normal. Baki everything normal. If everything is normal and NIHSS is 2, no TP, good prognosis. No, this is bad prognosis. This patient cannot will not do well. इसको जल्दी से कुछ ना कुछ करो. नहीं तो ये locked. You remember one patient we had from Symbiosis who had come from the ICU. Then Dr. Siddharth Lakhani's patient.
bed number 10 something.
thousand, and then it was a bad prognosis patient. That patient was a bad. Dire he became locked, and then we gave a DNR, isn't it? You remember this patient, right?
You also, Vajendra, when you were discussing
हाँ.
that locked in state.
ये लॉकडाउन में जाने वाला है, ये लॉकडाउन में चला गया वो. It's such a difficult patient conscious, patient talking to you, patient obeying commands, patient completely normal. Patient completely normal, moving all four limbs. Only thing you make him sit, चक्कर आता है उसको. Make him sit, चक्कर आता है उसको. This was what has happened to that particular patient. वो CKD वाला patient था वो. उसको dialysis वगैरह चल रहा था. So and then what we did, we said, let us. This is a difficult problem, but already time window passed away. It was more than 48 hours. We didn't know what to do. All we did was anticoagulation and aspirin. But then what happened? This patient became locked in and then gave eventually DNR and died. He gave DNR, he sent them home basically. He passed away. You understand? Huh? So this is how NIHS can be tricky. Okay, NIHS score can be tricky. But now at least you, by just all this talk, you at least realize this much that you are going to do the NIHS exam. Huh? Okay.